The most fucked up sign that somebody's going to commit suicide and kill themselves. And I share from experience. In 2015, my wife, Brandy Zink, committed suicide. In 2017, my dad, Dr. Barrett W. Zink, committed suicide. I lost a wife and a father to suicide. And then I almost took my life in 2018. I attempted suicide. This is the most fucked up sign. Comment your experience down below. The worst, just overlooked sign is that they are happy. It's like the surge. When it comes to suicide, it's like they know that there's a means to an end, that depression has totally taken over, that, you know what, it's going to stop. And it's the scariest thing ever. They wake up and they're happy all of a sudden. They're no longer talking about depression. They're no longer talking about anxiety, any of these problems. There's no challenges. They're just up, they're smiling, they're laughing, they're joking. And it's almost like you're just happy for them. There's no change in meds, no change in therapy, doctors. There's no changes. They just woke up and they're happy all of a sudden. They're happy because they made a decision. That's the scariest part. Because you're rooting them out. You were happy for them. You get so sucked in because you're like, oh my God, you're happy. I don't know what happened, but hoorah. And it solidifies in your brain that, see, nobody fucking cared. No one gave a shit when I was fucking struggling, but they care and they're happy when I'm happy. So obviously I don't matter. It's like that final seal. It's like that surge that happens before people die. It is the scariest thing ever because you look back and you go, how did I miss this? Because towards the end, they seemed happy. And it is scary, man. They're already emotionally shut down and they end up ending it all. And you look back at that, it's a lot to take in. And I will say this, for the one out there struggling, I do share a lot about suicide to remind you that you do matter. In 2018, I attempted suicide. And the strongest thing I ever did was continue to live when I wanted to die. Sometimes you got to go look in the mirror, remind yourself that you're a badass motherfucker. And you made it through 100% of your worst days and make it through 2 today. And you didn't come this far to only come this far. For the one struggling, looking for a sign, this is your sign. Reach out to everybody around you, tell them all that you're struggling, be real and be honest with them and look for the help. Help's not gonna come to you. You have to fight and find it, and it is worth it. What you're going through is real and it will get better.
Here are 5 things that helped me get out of my major depression. I'm gonna share with you 5 things that really helped me the last time I was in a major depressive episode. But before I do, I just wanna make a disclaimer that I'm not a licensed psychologist. I have just had a lot of experience with mental illness and I've been in therapy for about 18 years. As always, please consult with a medical professional, do your own research and take what resonates and leave the rest. Finally, I just wanna say that there will be mention of suicide in this video. So if you're not in a place to sit with any of that, that's okay. You can save this for later or you can just scroll right on. The first one, which you're already doing, is tell someone. This was really hard for me to do growing up. As a teenager, I did not have tools for asking for help, let alone letting people know I was struggling. I held a lot of shame and I thought that it was up to me to figure everything out. Now as an adult, I know that the biggest and most helpful thing I can do is to let somebody know that I'm struggling. So what I like to do is text a friend, text a family member, call someone and just let them know, hey, I'm really struggling with my depression right now. I don't necessarily need you to say anything or do anything. I just need someone else to know so that I know I'm not alone in this process. And beyond letting somebody know, asking for support, whether that's from a trusted loved one or from a therapist or seeking some kind of support group. I've always found that when I get support for what I'm going through from a professional or from someone who cares, I then have someone on my team to kind of help me walk out of the mud and get out of the hard part until I feel like I'm back on my feet again. The last time I had a major depressive episode, I was incredibly suicidal and I ended up moving back home with my dad. I was 33 years old and I felt a lot of shame about that. And at the same time, I wanted to live. There was a shred, there was an ounce that wanted to live. And I knew that what I needed was to find some stability and be somewhere safe. And that meant moving home. So please just know if you're in a position where you need that level of support and that's what you have access to, there's no shame in that. Your life matters. The third thing is reduce the pressure and reduce the load. This means taking anything off your plate that is not necessary for survival. If you can cut back a few hours at work, if there are certain events or goals you've set for yourself that don't necessarily contribute to you literally just staying alive, it's okay to pull back on those. So if you set a goal like I'm gonna write every day for 3 weeks, or I'm gonna run a marathon, or whatever that might be, it's an okay time to reduce those goals, knowing that when you're feeling better, you'll have the energy and the motivation to do them. Right now, your energy is devoted to just getting out of bed and doing the basic necessities. Number 4 is finding a routine. So this is just something to help bring in some structure and stability and reliability so that we feel like we have something, not even necessarily to look forward to, but something that we know is coming. So that means trying to wake up around the same time each day, even if that's 11 in the morning. Trying to have something similar for breakfast so that there's ease and there's fewer choices in what you're making. Trying to make make your day feel almost repetitive so that there's less overwhelm around figuring out how am I going to X, Y, Z. This is okay to do in a time period where we're feeling depressed because our energy levels are really low and our ability to make choices or feel creative or have a spice around what we're doing is pretty minimal. So we want to create a baseline routine just so that we start to feel like, okay, I'm in a rhythm of existing. And don't forget, just because we're doing things at a really simple level doesn't mean that you won't find a day in life again where there is that richness, where there is that creativity and exploration and freedom to take risks or try new things. It's just that right now we're really fragile and we have to allow ourselves to be almost like little babies again. Like we have to allow ourselves to just do the basic steps one step at a time until we start to feel a little bit better, and then we can start to introduce a little bit more. The fifth thing that really helped me, and I know that this is something that a lot of people struggle with, myself included, is friends. I had to start my life all over after I got divorced, and I lost a lot of friends. And so I was on my own for quite a while. And for a bit, I became hyper independent and I did okay. I was fine until I wasn't. And the more I started to focus on my social health as a component of my mental and my physical and my emotional health, the better I felt in all those other areas. So that meant putting myself in situations where there were other people, whether that meant going to a yoga class, going to a concert, checking out what's on like a meetup and finding a meetup to go to. And I know that can feel really overwhelming when we're already feeling depressed. And simply being around other human beings regulates us. So even if it's just sitting in a coffee shop while you're working and there's other people around and you get to say hi or wave at a stranger, or your coffee barista says hello and smiles at you, that is incredibly regulating for the nervous system. So starting to find ways to bring people into your life little by little can start to integrate a feeling of connectedness that often we feel is lost when we're depressed. Finally, I just want to say that if all of that sounds incredibly hard, that's okay. That's normal. Feeling depressed makes everything feel really, really hard. So if the only thing that you do today is watch this video, you're doing great. I promise you. And if you need more support, I'm here. Ask questions. I'm happy to answer anything I can. And if none of that was helpful, let me know. I'm so open to feedback. I just want you to feel like you're supported and cared for, because you are. And I know that this is incredibly difficult and you do not have to do it alone.
The difference between depression and sadness is just, from happenstance, whatever happened or didn't happen for you, or, grief or whatever it is. And depression is your body saying, fuck you, I don't want to be this character anymore.
Honestly, the best advice that my mom ever gave me was, when you're upset, just clean. Don't think about it, don't talk about it, just clean your fucking house. Scrub the floors, wash all the dishes, drink some wine while you do it, and cry. Because when you eventually feel better, you're gonna have a nice clean space to think. You're gonna feel a lot better because you cried. You're productive at the same time. So clean and cry.
5 things not to do when you have depression. 1, don't believe every stupid thing you think. Depression increases negativity, and the ants, the automatic negative thoughts, jump on you and infest you. And how you kill the ants is you write them down and you go, is that true? You have to nudge your brain to be positive, not just give in to the negative. If I was depressed, I wouldn't stay in bed. Actually, our research shows that when you just stay in bed, you get more depressed. But by getting up and becoming active and distracting yourself activates your brain and you begin to feel much better. I would never self-medicate with things like alcohol or marijuana that depress brain function and actually make you worse. I would never just take any antidepressant. Depression is like chest pain. There's so many different causes. I prescribe medicine, but I do it to your brain type. So you can read about my work and learn about brain types, or take our brain health assessment, brainhealthassessment.com. And if I was depressed, I never give up hope. Depression is a very treatable group. It's not one thing, but group of illnesses that people get better. And sometimes people have really dark thoughts and they give up hope. And there's so much hope. What we've seen here at Amen Clinics is people get better when we know what your brain looks like and we go and optimize the physical functioning of your brain.
I don't think people realize how hard it is living with depression. We can't just snap our fingers and get out of it. We just want to lay in bed all day. And I know we can't. And my best advice is we can't lay in bed all day. We can't. But I know how hard it is. I know how hard it is because the blanket feels 100 pounds, and when you lift your legs feel like they're 1,000 pounds, and you could barely walk, but you gotta try to get out of bed. I know how hard it is to get dressed. I understand. I know how hard it is to lift that damn toothbrush and brush your teeth. I know how hard it is to turn that shower on and take another shower. But if you can't do that, just get a wet rag and damp your body down, because you deserve to have a clean body. And if you have a friend or you know somebody that is struggling, don't text them. Don't text them and ask them how they're doing. Don't text them and say, well, did you read that article? Did you try exercising? No, we're not doing okay. We want to be back in bed, okay? So as a friend, the best thing you can do is just send that text and say, hey, I'm coming over. Let's cook some brownies. Let's watch a movie. Let's get a pizza. You might not be hungry, but I'm going to get a pizza for us. The best thing you can do is show us love, because we're not going to admit it, but we want love. That's what we want. We need love. And to those fighting, one more day.
If you are depressed or married to a depressed person, I have the biggest suggestion for you. When I'm depressed, it usually goes something like this. I'm sad. Why are you sad? I don't know why I'm sad. I'm just sad. Can you just stop being sad? I tried that and it didn't work. Okay, so let's do something that will work. How can I help you not be sad? I don't know. Be more supportive. Understand that. How do I be more supportive? I have about 1,000 ways that I think that you could be supportive, but they're all tiny and little and insignificant, and it feels weird to have the conversation and tell you 1,000 things that you could do. So instead, I'm just going to continue being sad and we'll both be frustrated. You're not saying anything. Please tell me what to do, because I don't know what depression is like and I don't know what to do. Then we're both more upset and we don't know what to do, and we both feel like we're failing and don't know how to help each other. After 15 years, I think we might have come up with a solution, and it might have revolutionized my depressed married life. I typed it out. I typed out the 1,000 things that he could do to support me when I'm depressed. And I told him, I don't need you to do all of these things, but here are 1,000 ideas of things that you can do. Help me finish a project. Pick one, or let's pick one together. Help me go to bed at a decent hour. Ask if I would like to shower with you. And then I showed him this list. And instead of discussing it back and forth, he typed back his questions and comments and replies. And it was genius, because sometimes when he's talking these things, his face is saying something that his mouth is not saying. And then I get stressed and then he gets stressed. And then we're just not really hearing each other, and it's not helpful. And it ends up being like, ugh. For example, his reply to ask if I'd like to shower with you. He said, I'm not sure how to read this. Do you mean to tell me to ask before trying to get in the shower with you? Or do you mean to encourage me to invite you in the shower with me because you would likely enjoy that sometime, and you probably won't bring yourself to invite me because you're sad and lost? And then I said the second one. When I said, help me go to bed at a decent hour, his answer was 10:30 question mark. And then I said, I'm in bed at 10:30, lights out at 11 question mark. And then he replied, sounds good. Now we have a whole list of ways that he can help, that I know I'm being supported and helped. And it didn't have to be like a 3-hour long tears conversation. It just was this. I wish I would have known to do this like 15 years ago. I don't know. Do you think this could be helpful for you? Because I absolutely know it's going to change our lives.
Do you want to hear how I cured my depression? Of course you do. Okay, a little backstory. So I have struggled with depression like my whole life, it feels like. But the last 6 months, like my mental health has been such a struggle. Like brain fog, depression, mood swings. I thought maybe I had bipolar or maybe I had PMDD. And it was just steadily getting worse. Like it's been getting worse over time, not better. And especially the last month has been excruciating. Also, since about June, I don't know the exact number because I don't weigh myself regularly, but I've gained about 30 or 40 pounds, which is a lot for this time frame. And for me, I haven't changed anything about my diet or my lifestyle. So I just knew something was wrong. Like, I was like, this is not making sense. I was also struggling with like a lot of joint pain, and I thought, do I have an autoimmune condition? I was, taking supplements to try and see like maybe I'm nutrient deficient in something. I was trying everything. Like, I was literally fighting for my life. Like, this was not pleasant. And I'll tell you what I discovered, but I don't know all the science yet. I'm still learning. But I have a genetic mutation called MTHFR variant, and it means that my body cannot metabolize folic acid. So the folic acid that I've consumed in my diet or in all those supplements I was telling you about, they fuck with your insulin levels, which explains the weight gain, and they fuck with your neurotransmitters. And so none of my meds were working. Like, I just was not producing a single drop of serotonin. Like, it's been rough. And I have been diagnosed as treatment-resistant depression in the past. And there are studies on how this gene is connected with cases of treatment-resistant depression. There's a bioavailable form of folate. It's called methylfolate, and I get it on Amazon. It's like $9 a bottle. And I took one, and the next day I felt better. And I've been taking it for a little over a week. And I feel like myself again. Like, it's crazy. And I want to learn more about like the science behind it and other supplements and like dietary changes I can make, because it also affects your B12 levels, I think. There's just a lot, but I'm not depressed anymore.
So if you struggle with depression and you have a hard time getting out of bed, I have a tip that might work for you. Let me know if it works out, all right? So when you wake up in the morning and you're having one of those days where it's hard to get out of bed, and in fact you don't want to, I want you to do one thing. Hear me out. I want you to do one thing that you know you can complete, and then hop right back into bed. And after you do that, give yourself credit for doing that one thing. And then let me know where that momentum takes you for the rest of the day.
World Mental Health Day, and I'm going to give you all a couple of tips on how to survive a depressive episode. So class is in session. I need y'all to listen up. So depression makes the very simple things really hard to do. So this makes it really difficult to get anything done. And on top of that, our memory when we're depressed is really shaky. It's hard to remember things. It's hard to stay on top of things. So I want you to create a simple schedule for yourself, a simple routine. It could be something as small as getting up out of the bed. That's one. And two, getting a dog out for a walk. Just anything that's going to allow us to be proud of ourselves at the end of the day. Number two, find a way to be needed, all right? Find a way to be needed. It's really difficult to be sad and depressed and to be needed at the same time. Now, it's still possible, but when you're needed, you know that you have some type of obligation or duty to somebody outside of yourself, something bigger than you, whether it's your dog, whether it's helping out somebody that is a relative, whether it's doing something small for somebody that doesn't seem like a big thing. But when you're needed, when you know that people need you, then you're able to do it for them, even if you can't do it for yourself in the current moment. And the last tip is to count the small wins, whether this is getting a dog out for a walk, getting the trash out, making a bed, brushing your teeth, taking a shower, whatever it is, you have to give yourself credit, because when you're depressed, all of those things become really difficult to do, really hard to do. And the last thing that I have to say, keep in mind that if you're struggling, you had a depression. It doesn't have you. You will be able to overcome it. I'm rooting for you, and I love you.
How do I explain that I have to cancel plans because all of a sudden I'm depressed for absolutely no reason and I only want to be alone in my room, like a Victorian poet with consumption? How do I do that? Like, I swear at 2 p.m. when I said yes, I was fine. But by 5:17, I was in bed questioning my entire existence because someone said, no worries with a period. So now I gotta lie and say, hey, I can't make it tonight, something came up. because I can't possibly explain that what actually happened is a mental fog has overtaken me, and I have the sudden inability to speak to another human being without crying on the inside. I'm not flaking. I didn't mean to do this. I'm just emotionally distressed. And the worst part is, if I tell you the real reason, you'll say, you should have said something. And I would have, but I was laying in the dark, listening to sad music and contemplating the ceiling. So I wanted to hang out, but then my brain said, no, you don't. And there's nothing I can do about it now.
I thought being in your early 20s was, like, supposed to be fun. I see all these bitches having so much fucking fun. I am miserable. Miserable. To my core, miserable. What the fuck? This shit sucks. I'm suing whoever told me that this was supposed to be the most fun time in my life, because it is not. Definitely not. Not even close.